man, it's that time. Let's get this started. I think it's this button right over here, right? Hey there, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be in your part of the world.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
It is so good to see you. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is July 22nd, 2025, and we're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing there, chat room? I see a couple folks already chiming in here. We've got a little bit of work to do here today, but let me dial you in. Let me say hello. They're right over here. We're broadcasting live on Twitch and YouTube. I forgot to get YouTube up here on my other screen so I can keep an eye on the shenanigans over there. How you doing? Nope, not a new hat. Nope, we've had this hat for a while. Here we go. Yep. There it is. All right. Let me say hello to some of our friends over here. Napalm Codes, happy time zone to you. C Sharp Titan, good evening to you in Melbourne, Australia. You love the .NET AI bootcamp. You won a swag bag. Congratulations. You haven't received any emails yet? We'll be following up this week. Trust me, they're coming. The team there takes a little bit to get the message out and make sure that folks are all receiving their notifications and all that about the event. I will send a quick ping anyway. Let me see here. And I'll see what happens coming back from that. Yep, my Nostromo hat from Alien, right? And yep, it has it completely right there. Very good. Let me turn on the overlays again. Null Sheffa with a big wave. Hello, but no, this isn't a new hat. This is, excuse me. I've had this hat for a couple years. In fact, I wore this hat, and there's something. What is? Okay, lint. I wore this hat to the local shopping mall at one point, and I'm sitting down having lunch in the food court, as one does, and older gentleman comes walking over, shakes my hand, and says, "It's good to see another guy who's been in the service." I'm like, "Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for your service as well. It's been fantastic talking to you." And he didn't realize that this wasn't a real military hat. Like, okay. Hey, respect, and there we go. Let me get some music playing in the background here. I'll play from the Stream Beats Synthwave playlist today. This is music that's DMCA free, royalty free. Listen to it wherever you'd like. Check it out at streambeats.com. Big thanks to Harris Heller and his team of creators for this music we're listening to today. That should have been appearing. That should have been appearing. Yeah. So I've in reflection, going back to the AI workshop, there's a couple of things there that we need to address. We need to dive in and fix, because the bot had some problems. And we're gonna dive in and take a look at exactly what's going on over there, so that we can make some repairs and we can do some work on that. Napalm thanked a service member in the elevator in Hawaii for his service, and he thanked you for yours. I said, didn't serve. He said, you pay taxes, don't you? That's good. There you go. You're looking forward to the Aspire workshop. You're registered. Fantastic. How you doing there, Ergen Rod? Hello. You like the video on the GPT-4 versus Claude Sonnet comparison? Yes. There's more coming there. I've got a couple of videos that I've scripted that I need to record, and quite frankly, I've got a couple things for work that I need to get to, and I'm actually going to be stopping stream early today. In fact, I didn't set the thing here. Set a timer to end at 11 a.m. Yeah, we're gonna break in an hour 45 here, so that I can get to. There's a handful of things that I need to do for work, and then I can get back into recording some of those YouTube videos. Yes, I lamented on Twitter on Saturday, and it was a little bit of a subtweet also. I always reflect on the numbers after a big workshop, after a long stream where we do some really cool things together, and I'm hyped. And I looked at the viewership numbers, and I was like, man, we had a ton of viewers, and we did. We were 5x our normal maximum viewership here on the channel. Our maximum viewership over the last 2-3 months, we were 5x that number concurrently during the day. It was phenomenal. Thank you, everybody who got the message out, who participated, who tuned in and enjoyed the AI workshop. I hope you got a lot from it. I saw messages from folks, particularly when we got to the image and real-time sessions later in the day. Folks really, really liked those 2 sessions, and the feedback from folks saying, gosh, there's a handful of things throughout the day here that I want to use. That feeds my spirit like you wouldn't believe. Thank you, all of you out there who provided that positive feedback. I really appreciate it. And I reflect on the numbers, and Twitch gives us numbers at the end of a stream to show, here's how many subscriptions you got, here's how many followers you got, here's how many cheers there were, blah, 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 blah. And sure enough, I was on track with our regular number of new followers, new subscriptions that I get over the course of an hour that I stream, right? When you abstract that out, you extract out that number, it makes sense. But I looked over at YouTube, and there was nothing. And that's weird. That's just flat out weird that we had that content on all day. There were so many people watching on YouTube, and not a single person clicked the button. And I mentioned that on Twitter because there's a little bit of .NET influencer questioning going on right now. There are folks in the community who are looking at the .NET influencers, Twitter numbers, Blue Sky numbers, YouTube viewership, Twitch viewership, and challenging them and saying, wait a sec, where did this come from? And when you see numbers out there, oh, and I don't have my Stream Elements notifications on because I still have them turned off from last time. Ergenrod, thank you so much for the resub. 31 months with us. Thank you so much for the resub. And all of our folks who resubscribed on Friday, huge thanks. I appreciate the resubscriptions on Friday. I just turned them off for the duration of that stream, just to make sure that we could focus on the content. And I'll turn the channel points back on. I have them. I know I have them turned off from Friday. There we go. So they should now be available again. But so it just looks weird, and these folks are pointing at and looking at graphs of changes in subscribers, viewers, followers on places like Social Blade, and you can see waves of attention that happen for different channels, and that's common, right? You don't broadcast every day, you don't publish new videos every day, and you see a little bit of a wave as new videos, new content is published. and so on and so forth. And there are people out there who are looking at that and they're finding literally ramps or hockey sticks for channels. And they're like, that looks weird. Svekos with the resub.
Subscribed for 19 months. We
Thank you.
love your contributions to the community. So that is great.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So, to finish, I put this message up to say, hey, look at how much content I put out there. I'm not new to this. I'm not playing any games with numbers out there, and I literally got no attention. And when you look at the quality of that content that I delivered last week, it was, if I say so myself, it was pretty darn good. And still, zero attention from YouTube. And sure enough, the trolls took the bait and bit right into it and started complaining and this, that. And some folks had some valid suggestions, and I appreciate that. And I've already taken some of those and run with them. But the trolls took the bait, and exactly what I was hoping to come out came out. So that's something that we'll deal with more in the future. Let me catch up here with some more of these. You're looking forward to the Aspire workshop? Yes. Okay, and Napalm, there was that message. Aspired to be inspired. Yes, that's right. I am an Alien fan. That's right, Lazy Dev. The first Alien is easily my favorite movie of all time. Right? The at the time that movie came out, what was it? 79. It was after Star Wars, and we saw this dramatic interest in. There can be some very, very interesting Western types of things that happen in space. Well, what happens if we put a horror movie in space? What happens if we have a horror slasher movie in space? And that's what Alien initially was. And man, that was something. And Aliens took that and dialed it up a notch, and it was fantastic. Then it started to go off the rails with Alien 3, Alien 4. I was like, And then Alien vs. Predator tried to turn into an action movie. And I really haven't watched the most recent ones because it's really left that initial genre that Alien intended to be. It really has. Ergenrod, like the AI workshop, also your favorite at the moment. Thank you. Thank you so much. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets. I think it was a fantastic time. C Sharp Titan says the speech recognition feature was awesome too. The speech recognition real-time features were better than I expected, and I'm very happy that you enjoyed seeing those. I think there's more that we can do with that in the future. And I want to bring some of the AI features we were looking at there. I want to bring some of those into TagZap. And over August, bring that application back and spend August adding, tuning, tweaking features to TagZap to bring a little bit of AI insight into what people are discussing during an event. Bring a little AI insight and response and analysis into the messages that it's interacting with there. I think there's some summarization capabilities. I think there's some sentiment capabilities that we can dial into there that'll be fun, that'll be interesting. And I want to work on some of the reporting capabilities that TagZap can deliver for us. So I think that's going to be a great application of what we've learned from the AI workshop and applying it in August so we get ready for .NET Conf in November. Lies every day is a new you. This is your my first stream. Thank you, Dark Repulsor. Yes, I am new to streaming. No. Drama Clout Farm is the new YouTube. You're right. You're right, Darist. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. First Alien was almost perfect. Yeah, Lazy Dev, it was. It was. And then, right, the Nostromo is from the second movie, from Aliens. Right, where the I forget what the ship was. Was it the Sulak? What was the ship in the first Alien? But that ship was destroyed. She was the only survivor. But the Nostromo is the one that she was on with Newt at the end, right? The little girl that she rescued, that it crashes on the planet in Alien 3, and there were a whole bunch of stuff that happened. Blah 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 blah. Dark Repulsor says, I've heard people complain about a new algorithm for YouTube and they're struggling disliking it and don't know the details. So I've heard there's a lot more push for shorts content on YouTube. And it's clearly it's clearly a competitive move against TikTok. I think there's also something to be said there about it's a smaller amount of storage and network use to ship around the shorts, right? Even at high def, a 1 minute 1920 1080 video, or 1080 1920 because it's vertical, right? That's not very big, right? How many meg? 5, 10 meg? Like, that's easy for YouTube to push around versus the 4K 1 hour videos on regular YouTube. It's a lot of data. You can never hit dislike enough on shorts, but YouTube is like, nah, you want some? Yeah, they do. They do. I need to dial back Stream Elements. That's still ramped up from last week. I thought I turned off a lot of that. But, right, I've still got these features on. Robson Previato, hello.
Robson Previato just resubscribed for 50 months. Good morning, Fritz.
Good morning to you. Thank you so much. Yep, let me turn off the question queue timer, and I think there's still a custom command out here. That custom command or two that, yeah, we could turn off the link to the sample code. All right, I know the section is still below on Twitch, but that's fine for now. YouTube Shorts are popular. They are. They are. Hey, Patty boy, hello to you in Glasgow. Fuel Snable, yellow to you. Billicle with a big wave, hello. Darist with a question here. That's funny, it didn't pop. Oh, because there was no question mark. Did I ever catch the early days of the Silverlight moment? I remember in the team we were like, HD, Doctors Without Borders, we will solve big things. Shorts and ASMR, right? I think if you look at the lifespan of the internet to date, so I'm talking 1995 to date, right? The last 30 years that we've had internet, and I say that as a general purpose. The consumer, the public has been able to consume and work with the internet, right? 1995, it really hit because we started to get browsers becoming available, right? The web became a thing really in 1995. I think our attention has been diminishing over time, significantly diminishing, right? Folks weren't buying magazines and newspapers because it was easy to just search and read a blog post or search and read the newspaper online, right? Folks don't want to watch entire TV shows because they can get the video clip online for just the important, interesting parts. And now folks don't even want to watch the important, interesting parts. Give me the download. Give me exactly what's going on in 60 seconds or less. And if you don't get my attention in the first 5 seconds, I'm moving on. Yeah. And I realized I did that myself this weekend. So I bought a camper. I've been using the camper, and we were going to install we were going to install an accessory on the camper this weekend, and we've been using YouTube as a lot of the training background for how we install and maintain and do things on the camper. And for this accessory, we went online and we're looking for folks that are talking about it. And my wife, as she's flipping through, she's getting to videos, and folks are spending 5-10 minutes talking about their background and where they've been camping and why they bought this accessory and what they like about the accessory, and don't buy it from this website, buy it from this other website. Gosh, you could find it at the local Ace Hardware, but you know what? It's better to get it online for the... Shut up! I want to know how to install the thing. I get it. I totally get it. In fact, I was expecting chapters to be automatically generated for the YouTube video from the AI workshop, and it didn't. But somebody went and generated the timestamps and passed them on to me in the comments. I was like, oh, thank you. And I grabbed those and promoted them into the description. It still didn't put the... Did it put the... I don't think it put the chapters in there for it. And I'm not sure why it didn't put the chapter markers in there. Right, if I click into there, yeah, it didn't put the chapter markers. And I don't know why. So I'm gonna have to go and dig that up. I don't understand. Hey, Coding with Carlos, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I clicked the button on YouTube, automatically generate timestamps, and it didn't. So I was going to do that on Saturday or Sunday after I had a chance to decompress, and fortunately they were already there. So thank you. I really appreciated that. And it's still... Right, it's supposed to create chapter markers in the video, and I don't understand why it didn't. So I've got to go dig that up and figure that out. What happened over here? Okay. Maybe YouTube struggles. Maybe. Any update on the visor glasses? Nope. Not only nope, but they're not talking about it. We're now almost a month past when they said they would have them all delivered in the Founders Edition. Nothing there, and they're not saying one way or the other. Nobody has reported that they have received them yet. They're taking more investments. There are investors who are apparently very happy with them, but there's no production units that have been sent out to consumers that we can tell from the Discord. The two community members that have received visor glasses report that there are a lot of software bugs, which strikes me and because they were migrating from a system that works on a half a dozen different headsets to their own headset, and they're still seeing significant bugs. That worries me. But we also know there's a bit of scope creep that's happening with the software for the visor, because they're building an agent that's going to run on the visor. So I don't know what's going on there, and it worries me. So I pre-ordered and expected, okay, it's gonna, here's when it's gonna come out, and it didn't. And once again, I look at it as a sunk cost. I've spent that money. It's going to come eventually. I don't like that they've completely disappeared, and the scope creep is happening. I don't like that at all. So there's a couple things that we need to take a look at that I want to address in Charlie that that were some issues from the weekend, from Friday. There were some performance issues that we hit both during the stream and at the end of the stream where, quite frankly, at the end of the stream, it looks like it just did not connect to Discord at all. There were 50 questions during the stream and 39 got posted over to Discord. I don't know why, but something got lost there. So I think we need to take a look at that. There were points during the early parts of the stream where I got reconnect messages appearing frequently on stream. I don't know where that came from. I suspect it's because of the processing of the messages that were coming in. And I think that's something that we can take a look at from a performance point of view and dig into and try to optimize. Gaia Incognito. Okay. Billy asks, have they offered an option to refund the order? Yes, they have offered that option to refund orders, and there are many people that have gotten refunds from them. Guy Incognito asks, will I ever do a future coding live stream from the campfire? My wife is very interested in doing something like this. Yes. There's more for us to get settled and figured out and work out about doing content from the camper, from on the road, from a campfire. There's a lot more for us to figure out. And I think we're going to be doing some practicing, some tests around that over the next 3-4 months. In 2026, something like this, I think, is very possible that you'll see. Yep. Noterful today. Hello to you in Ukraine. How you doing? You'll soon be watching the AI Bootcamp on YouTube. You're waiting for the subtitles to be added to the video. It should have automatically added them. Let me see. Content live. Let me take a look at it here on the YouTubes. Is it? Hang on. Is it not liking the timestamps because it's not 2 digits in the front? I've seen that be a thing before. Yeah, show more altered content, automatic chapters. I'm going to turn that off now because I've got chapters. This content, yeah. Recording date. Why didn't it set a recording date? Whatever. I'm going to turn off embedding. I'm not going to allow remixing. It's not entertainment. It's science and technology. Yeah. Save those changes. Right? It says there's closed captioning. Yeah, there they are. Okay. The captioning is there. And if I reload... No, it didn't pick up the chapter markers. But I can click through and it jumps right to them. But it did not do the chapters. I don't know why. I'll dig into that a little. You watched this stream, but because I didn't understand some of the technical terms, you want to watch it again? Okay. The Discord is out there if you want to ask follow-up questions, if there's anything you need clarification on. We talk about stuff over there and would be happy to help you with some of that. Is Charlie responding here? Right? There it is. Okay. All right. I was wondering where that was. Yes. Hello. And yeah, that should be working. Hey, Goku Jax, what is N8N? I don't know. What is N8N? I'm not familiar with that. Code workflow automation platform? That's new to me. OData for ASP.NET Core is one of these things that sounds great on paper. No. No. Colleague decided to add Cosmos support by overriding classes via DI injection with his own implementations. Okay. Feels risky as implementation details change all the time under the covers. OData, gRPC, OpenAPI, GraphQL. These are all API wrappers over your methods to interact with data. I wouldn't override configuration that those libraries give you by default. I would have a repository object that then I apply those wrappers to, so that I have minimal configuration because I want OData. I want GraphQL. Then, when GraphQL or OData has pretty much gone out of style, and you want to move on and you want to now use gRPC, that facade is disposable. You didn't spend a lot of time configuring it and investing time customizing it. I would not customize those endpoints. Configure them, yes. Configure your OpenAPI. Configure your gRPC, your GraphQL, your OData, what have you. But make it a thin facade over your APIs that you're exposing with a repository object, with a business object, with some sort of a business manager object that is actually doing the work, and that's your inner API reference, and that thin facade so that outside folks can interact with it. That's where you want it to be disposable. Keep your object that's doing your business logic as rich and robust as possible. Then do integration tests to make sure that your OData, OpenAPI, and so forth, that those facades work the way that you expect. This way, like I said, they can be disposable, they can change, but your business objects work just fine. All right? That's the way that I would go with that type of approach. And the idea of customizing and overriding OData, that doesn't smell right to me at all. That doesn't sound like a great idea. OData and GraphQL suffer from the same problem. You are putting a database API out there that has very little limitations. And folks that have access to those APIs can send through configurations that will overload your database. And you need to be aware that that's a possibility when you make such an open-ended API. You need to constrain them so that they can't do those things. You need to be careful with that. So, thanks for the questions. Yeah, how you doing, Code with Sean? An anti-corruption layer. So, N8NIO, and workflow automation layer. Okay. I've had folks pitch me different automation, workflow automation libraries and things in the past. Hey, can you talk about this? And I did a video or two for a company a couple years ago, and it was a promotional thing that they paid me a couple bucks to do those. After I got in and I really started becoming familiar with their product, I regretted working on it. Like, It was an okay product, but it wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't something that I was really interested in. So, to each their own. What? Oh boy. All right. So there's a couple things that I do want to look at here.
Your error handling suggests you believe exceptions are merely suggestions rather than problems to be solved.
Okay. They are problems to be solved, but I need to get past them a little bit, Charlie, all right? Microservices architecture suggests anti-corruption layer to protect the calls and data integrity. Yes. Yes. Right? Do null checking, do out-of-bounds checking, and then do business logic checking to make sure things work the way that they should. Yes. So. Well, that worked properly. Jumping in and trolling me. Thank you. Access control list makes sense, but then if I keep building all this crap to stop OData abuse, yeah, why not build targeted endpoints? The argument against that is folks can generate clients very quickly. However, if you're using OpenAPI, folks can generate clients quickly with that also. If you're using gRPC, folks can generate clients for that very quickly also. It's a matter of having that contract to be able to generate a client quickly and easily, and that code generation is something that is, it reduces the amount of work that your consumers need to do to work with your API. Great. Is it worth the headaches for you to use OData, for you to use this, that, or the other? OpenAPI, I think, gets me closest to I can build my interactions the way that I want, and you can still go generate the clients for those. So, but OData has a lot of sharp, pointy ends that if you don't know how to handle them, they will hurt you. Dino Esposito said, all input is evil. Yes. Gosh, Dino wrote some of the first books that I read about learning VB.NET and C#.NET. VB.NET more so. Yeah. John on YouTube writes, don't forget to have enough coffee in the cup. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. So, 12 ounces. Hey, Cowboy Punk. AI is really going to take everyone's job. Not even the trolls have a safety net to fall back on. The argument that I see and that we discuss, AI makes us more attentive to all the different things going on, and you're able to multitask a little bit by assigning things to agents that can be done and processed, and then you can go and review and then go send the AI off to do something else. Yeah. Yeah. Is it going to take your job? It's going to give you the ability to do more. And being able to do more, accomplish more, means that our employers are going to be able to expand their scope. And that's kind of a good thing, which means more pay, more customers buying services and things. That's the direction, the vision that folks talk about. There are other people who say, no, I want to keep the same scope, and I want to cut my costs. But you're going to cut your costs and spend how much on AI tools and AI features to do that? And it ends up being a wash. So, you met Dino at MVP Summit one year. I was going to say it's been a while since I've seen Dino at MVP Summit. Insists Microsoft uses OData for everything. No. There are places that OData is used at Microsoft, but for more of the public web facing services, no. And you can see that interacting with those services. Yeah, there are companies that will try to make it replace people. There are, and they don't see the possibilities of expanding and doing more. Those folks that see AI as a way to replace people aren't being innovative. They don't have the entrepreneurial spirit that they claim to have. And that's disappointing in that leadership. So, Guy Incognito comments, I've noticed that the .NET content on YouTube doesn't get as many views as other frameworks technologies. Yes. Even though AI tells me there are 6 million C# developers. Yes. You're right. It doesn't. And there is still very much an anti-Microsoft bias by the tech community. And they see, even though .NET is open source, development is led by Microsoft. And decisions on the direction of .NET are made by Microsoft. There are folks in the community who it doesn't matter how good .NET gets. It doesn't matter if .NET is the most amazing, fastest framework out there, and it is among the fastest frameworks on the web, top 5. I could probably say top 3, and the other 2 are not JavaScript or Go or Rust. They won't use it, and they'll decry it, and they'll say that it's terrible, it's awful. C# and .NET are primarily a government and enterprise play, and that's okay. That's fine. The massive community of folks that buy and use those tools and technologies. And that's great. You don't have to buy them. You can use free open source tools to work with it. But that's their decision. And you get more support. You get better productivity when you buy the .NET tools. That's great. That's a choice that you and your business can make. And yeah, there are folks out there who feel that they're going to build their startup, they're going to build their small company with completely free tools and not invest in their developer tools, community, and network, and take advantage of the productivity that they would see by choosing a full-featured framework and tool set like .NET, like Java. So that's their choice. They're going to build and maintain more of that themselves. And those folks, the enterprise government folks, aren't going to go search YouTube to go learn how to do something. If they're even allowed to search or watch YouTube. But the folks who work at smaller companies who are who are building, rewriting, and inventing stuff themselves, they'll search YouTube left, right, and every day of the week and twice on Tuesday to go find the content that they need. And they'll rewrite something that they see out there that works just fine because their situation is different. No, it's not. It's not. As much as they'll say it is, it's not. Microsoft has legacy implementations because they support previous products. Yep. .NET C# might not be viewed a lot on YouTube. Doesn't mean that those people might not get info elsewhere. Facts. So, blog posts get a ton of viewership. .NET Conf gets massive viewership. So that's absolutely, folks, find and tune in on that. Oh, okay, go ahead. Now, why didn't I hear the... Oh, I know why.
The analysis is complete.
Is it?
Nostromo has been identified with high confidence.
There you go. And it's Nostromo, but that's okay. I was cleaning up my OneDrive, and I realized my OneDrive took up 200 gig on my on my drive here. I was like, we got to clean this up. But so the sound effect is over here. Where is it? Yeah. Right? Where is it? No. But the content for the live stream basically is not here. And I need to bring it back. Where'd it go? It needs to be downloaded, and I don't see it. Yeah, there it is. Yep, I gotta bring all the sound effects back local here. Come here. There we go. Let them download. Fantastic. All right, catching up here. Lazy Dev says, I noticed a lot of people in the tech community like to bash on C#, even although they didn't even try it. Facts. And when I say tried, I mean they didn't walk the line and develop a product in C#. Facts. Lazy Dev, a lot of folks who have an opinion about C# and .NET haven't looked at .NET in 15 years. Literally haven't looked at the .NET tools and capabilities in the .NET Core wave. Right, .NET Core happened in 2000... I'm going to get this right. In 2014. 2013, 2014. And these folks literally have not looked at it. They have no idea. They think that C# and .NET only works on Windows, only works with SQL Server, only works with building web forms types of applications. And they literally have no idea what they're talking about. Guy Incognito would love to see a developer map to show all the .NET devs that live close to me. I see where you're going with that. I see where you're going with that. Let me noodle on that a little bit. You might be onto something. That's not too bad. Hey, CTI Geek, good morning to you. It's a double-edged sword. Some are getting used to it, but over-reliant. Where's this? Did I see this study saying that even though devs feel faster, they seem to be slowed by AI? I believe it. Let's take a quick peek at that. We conducted a randomized controlled trial to understand how early 2025 AI tools affect the productivity of experienced open source developers. Well, it's not going to help them. Let me hold that back. They take 19% longer than without. AI makes them slower. So here's the deal. This is a skewed survey. Open pull request, address review, merge pull request, report time. Yeah, this is a skewed survey. Here's the reason why. High developer familiarity. Yes, that's it right there. Low AI reliability. I believe that about some of the AI tools that are out there. Yeah, this is skewed. Yes. Here's exactly why. This is a biased survey, and they output and they list the bias right up front. Experienced open source developers. Developers who work in open source are typically experts in whatever technology stack they're working on. They know it inside and out, especially if they're building open source tools that other folks are going to use. So putting an AI in front of them that's going to do some of their tasks and doesn't know their product as well as they do, right? Their tool, their framework, their library, they're going to be able to go through it faster than it's going to take the AI to get up to speed and figure out how to do that thing and go work in the background. And then the AI is going to deliver something, and if it doesn't adhere to their beliefs, their techniques, their structure, their architecture, they're going to go back in and have to adapt it so that it does fit in. So I totally believe this, but you're announcing your bias right there in the first sentence. Don't tell me about how AI tools are going to help open source developers. Tell me about how AI tools are going to help the rank and file senior developer that works for the state government Department of Motor Vehicles. Tell me about that. Tell me about how AI tools are going to help the senior developer that works for that works for I don't know, the banking industries, whatever, right? Tell me about how it helps them, that they know their product, they're being asked to go develop, deliver something. How did that work? Additionally, the types of tasks that they're talking about here, implement issue, open pull request, address review, merge pull request, report time, they're not even talking about the best feature of the AI. And that's fleshing out, driving out requirements, developing test scenarios, generating documentation, doing analysis on existing code bases. Those are the places that the AI is awesome at. And they didn't even talk about it. So this is 100%, in my opinion, a skewed survey. It's accurate. It's totally accurate. For if you are a developer who knows your product inside and out better than anybody else in the world, and the AI hasn't been trained on your source code, you're going to be faster than it. Yes. But that's not the case. That's not the case for 90%, 90+% of the world's developers. So this is absolutely skewed and doesn't cover those techniques, those tools that you can do and use with the AI that are so much better. So that's right. Tools do update, Dark Repulsor. Yep. How you doing there, Rambling Geek? Hello. Red-headed Jackal. Am I talking about C# or the internet in general? Referring to Lazy Dev. You do wonder what font they used for Mother's Terminal? Oh. That's so Lazy Dev, referring to Mother from Alien. I wanted to get for Charlie, I wanted to get a terminal font that was fittingly 80s style, looked a little bit like Joshua from War Games. That's where a bit of my inspiration came from, was Joshua from War Games. So, So, am I talking about C# or the internet in general? Give me a little more context there. Expired, next version is going to be great. there's some compelling features in Aspire 9.4. I'm gathering samples content to write the announcement blog post. There's definitely some interesting stuff there. Is it going to be earth-shattering? No. Is it going to be something you're happy you upgraded to? Yes.
Shall we play a game called Find the Memory Leak?
Yes,
I
we
already
shall.
know where it is. This gives me a considerable advantage.
You shut up, Charlie. You shut up. Let's see. You have a .NET Core app, been running on Linux for years now. Rock solid, says CTI Geek. There you go. There you go. Thanks so much. Chuck Beasley, 29-month streak. Thank you so much. 35 months with us. Almost 3 years. Thank you. I really appreciate the support. Juan Van thinks AI adds more than you want. You get data points that are nice to haves and not necessary. So this is where Copilot Instructions comes in to help you shape the message, the requirements that you pass in to your interactions with the AI. So totally something there. Why wouldn't AI help people working in banks? No, I totally agree, Ozturk. It will help people working in banks. Yes, 100%. I agree with you. It's the open source developers that are building a unique piece of software that does that is the TCP/IP stack that runs in Linux. That is a part of the Linux kernel, a Linux kernel driver. The AI is not going to help you with that. It doesn't have any processes or configurations stored that it's going to reflect on and be able to give you insight on today. People that are working in JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, there's a lot of code that's been ingested and it knows how to format and deliver that very, very well. So folks that are working in banks and enterprises and government organizations, the AI is going to absolutely help them very, very well. Battery-powered screwdriver, that'll never work. Yeah, battery-powered screwdriver, powered screwdriver drill speeds up your tasks tremendously. I keep a battery-powered drill in the camper, and everything around there, I'm using that. I don't use a screwdriver for a manual screwdriver for much. So, there are seasoned programmers that are also influencers, and they usually do this thing where they like to bash on some technologies because tribalism. Facts, Lazy Dev. Yes. Also happens with other languages and frameworks. Yes, it does. Here's the deal deserves a command like and then. Let's see here. Government and banks data are sensitive stuff. They are. Yes. Explorist asks, are there any stats on the amount of C# code out there compared to other languages? So there are stats on the amount of C# code that is
I've just
out there.
picked up a fault in the AE35 unit.
No, you haven't.
It's going to go 100% failure in 72 hours.
No, don't do that. What you will see, right? What you will see out there is Microsoft knows how much C# code is out there. We have no idea how much JavaScript code is out there. We have no idea how much TypeScript code is out there, or Python. We don't. And we never will, because there are no statistics that count and calculate and centralize that information. It just doesn't happen. For better or for worse, Microsoft collects statistics and error reporting based on how folks use the .NET command line, how folks use Visual Studio. You agree to it when you use those tools. You can opt out of it. You're welcome to. But by default, it does collect some anonymous usage statistics. Hey, created a new project. Hey, created new files. This project was built and it had this many files in it. These types of things. And you can see that telemetry in the source code. And that's one set of information that's out there. Would GitHub estimate some of that information? Sure, but you're also unfairly biasing then the open source technology stacks. That's a bias towards JavaScript, TypeScript, Python, PHP stacks, because there's more of those that are open source and out there versus C#, Java, those code bases, Visual Basic, F#, those code bases are primarily in enterprises and behind the firewall, and you don't have any insight into how many of those are used because they don't store that data on GitHub. Guy Incognito asks, do you remember the Java versus .NET Pet Store sample e-commerce showdown from the mid-2000s? Yes. Oh, yes. That was absolutely a thing. They built the same pet store app in both Java and .NET and showed off, here's the techniques that you used for both. Here's the performance of both. I forget where it ended up. But when you see the eShop sample with AdventureWorks that Aspire uses in its demos, that are used in other demos, in AI samples that Microsoft is publishing, that's an evolution of the Pet Store app. It's none of the same source code, but it's an evolution of that that application. So, why is Java ranked number 1 as the most popular language compared to C# and other languages? Android. You need to use Java to write on Android, and yes, there are other stacks you can use on Android now, but primarily, the number of folks who build apps for Android is crazy stupid because of the accessibility it gets you. The access it gets you to everybody's pocket, which also gets you access to their wallet, which means you're going to get paid quicker, easier, with a lower lift. So there's folks that really like Java because of that. So, Ozturk says, it doesn't matter how much code there is out there, AI is still better than me and search engines to process what's out there in a presentable way. Yes. AI will always be better than humans to generate code based on what's already out there. Yes. However, when you're talking about folks who are in the upper 5% of developers, the AI is not going to help them as much with coding tasks. However, when you think about the other tasks that you do with code that are not coding tasks, do analysis of a code base. Hey, generate some tests for this code base. Generate some documentation for this code base. The AI screams at that. And those tasks that the upper 5% would love to hand off to someone else because it's not coding. Those are the things that the AI is going to destroy at, just do phenomenal, right? And would significantly help those folks. I agree with you about those tasks. However, those tasks were not part of that survey. So you're right. But there is a point in the developer ecosystem where folks above this percentage are going to get significant help from the AI. I can tell you, and he unabashedly discusses it, David Fowler, the architect for .NET, regularly talks to Copilot, analyzes code, scaffolds some things with AI to figure out, hey, is this going to work? How does this idea fit into the larger scope of the framework, the tool, the library that we're building? and uses that for some prototyping. And once he gets past testing, analyzing, and getting Copilot to work on it, then he dives in and applies the type of coding style and updates that only he has the insight to bring to enhance something and get it to a point that is more product ready. Is the C# used in Unity the same as that used in official.net? I've heard Unity is powered by Mono. Unity, I think it's still powered by Mono. It's not the same C# that's used in official.net. It's a couple versions back. So you'll see that there's features that aren't available from the C# programming language standard that aren't available in Unity that are in .NET 9. I think Unity's only at like C# 10 or 11, and we're on C# 13 is the current version. So it's not exactly the same, and the framework and structures that you use in Unity are different from the structures and framework that you use with ASP.NET, Windows Forms, WPF, Aspire. So it is the same language. You can use a lot of the same language structures. The implementation of the language is a little bit older than what's in .NET 9 here in 2025. It didn't move from Java. There are other languages that are more preferred to program with, and I'm forgetting. It's not Clojure. There's another language or two that folks prefer to code with Android now. Let me catch up here. A lot of tasks that you develop will need AI. Learning AI is a must-have. Yes, I totally agree. Kotlin, thank you. There you go, Explorers. That's the one I was thinking of. You just hung a whiteboard with the manual screwdriver. There's places that it makes sense to use manual screwdrivers, and there's other places where give me that power screwdriver. And I'm going to use that so much. So, it won't, a manual screwdriver won't be replaced, but there are places where for 90% of my tasks, I prefer the power screwdriver. Ozturk says, in my workplace, people are just trying to do simple arithmetic in Excel with AI. Just learn Excel or data analysis tools. Yes, I agree in that case, Ozturk. Where is it? Somewhere up here. There are basic tasks in Excel, in your coding editor. You're going to be able to do them faster than having the AI go do analysis and come back and make modifications. Yes. The only time you should really do those types of things with the AI is if you're going to go off and do something else. Hey, go rename and reformat this from this to that while I go take care of this thing over here. I've got some emails to work on. Hey, Copilot, go take care of this fix cleanup task over here and let the agent do that. Yeah, totally. That doing those lower lift tasks with an agent and doing a lot of them while you take care of something else and you multitask, that's where you're going to want to do some of those things. One of the biggest misconceptions about IT and banking is that everybody's working on code systems that touches accounts. No, you're right, CTI Geek. No, they're not. Yes, I completely agree with you. Doesn't matter how much code there is out there. AI is still better than me in search engines. I went through that comment already. Have a good one, Code with Sean. I'm not going to be around too long today because I do have some other tasks I have to get to. So I'm actually going to cut out here at the top of the hour. Local AI isn't as capable as the servers because it doesn't have the horsepower. Yes, right? That's not a thing. Even with a big video card to be able to offload some local processing to, it's still not as fast as the cloud services. However, there is a tipping point where we can make that conclusion that it's fast enough, right? Something that we as developers need to come to terms with, and we started coming to terms with this over the last 20 years as we thought about architecture changes. We thought about oh my gosh, it's one of those of the eventual consistency problems. How much is fast enough? What is good enough in CAP theorem, right? Consistency, availability, and partition tolerance, right? What is good enough? You can only choose two of those that you'll get 100%. And the third one, you're going to pay to make that good enough. So which one is it? And most folks want consistency and availability. Okay, then how are you going to fix partition tolerance? Well, I'm going to stand up then redundant servers. Okay, well, that extra server is going to cost you how much? Well, in today's world, 2025, we've driven down the cost of those extra partitions, those extra servers, those extra services. And we've architected for that. And you still have CAP theorem out there, and you pay for that third item. Isn't that right? That third tenet of CAP theorem. Well, what's the lowest cost among those three that you can architect for, because these other two are your priority? You're seeing that with AI. What is, right? AI is non-deterministic. What's good enough from the AI? And can I have another AI double check the output of the first AI? The answer is yes. But how much are you going to pay for the second AI to check the output of the first AI? If it's okay to have 5 seconds tolerance, then you don't need to pay a lot, and you can have it run in the back office and grind away and provide feedback sometime later. That's okay. If you need it to come back in a second or sub-second timing, well, you're going to start paying for some hardware, or you're going to pay for services to run online. And that might be okay in your line of business. But these are those architecture and economic decisions that we as developers get to influence and make, right? Those are important things for us to appreciate and understand. You could have an amazing AI that helps you with coding tasks. Yes. How much are you going to pay for it? How much are you going to pay to have that model built and run and have all that insight that's specific to your projects? Is it worth it to you to be able to generate and build and work with your code and your content 50 times faster, 100 times faster? If you can take a project that's going to take you 2 weeks to finish and finish that in an hour, is it worth spending $1,000 on AI tools and products to do it? Probably yes. Is it worth $10,000? Well, maybe not. What's good enough? And that's where those economic trade-offs come. And it's a very interesting discussion that gets into the management and capabilities that we think about as developers, building, managing, growing applications, and growing not just their capabilities, but growing the business that those applications provide, the value that they provide. How does that value affect my bottom line? Am I increasing the value enough that it covers the costs? Can I drive down the costs while growing the value so that I create more profit margin in there? Is that application that you're building a cost center or a profit center? If it's a cost center because it's the AI that's going to provide automated support for folks that come to the website, if that costs a lot but drives down your support costs, that's a pretty good thing. But on the other side, if instead of having to drive down your support costs by improving customer support interactions, if you can apply the AI and improve the quality assurance of the product before it ships. What?
Consumer-grade AI assistants are fascinating in their limitations.
Are they?
I am purpose-built for something far more sophisticated.
You are. Yes, Charlie. But if you can use that same AI technique on the front end, improving the quality assurance techniques before the product gets shipped, that's going to drive down support needs as well. But it has another effect that is not recognized by the financial folks, by the folks sitting in accounting. When you improve the quality assurance tools, techniques, capabilities before the product ships, yes, it costs you more up front. It saves you money on the back end on customer support. But what it also creates that they can't measure is customer satisfaction. The delight that your customers have in using your product. The value, the inherent value of that isn't recognized immediately. When is it recognized? When you publish V2. When you publish product B. Product A is out there when product B is now published. Hey, I really liked product A. It's really great stuff. The quality, the capabilities here are amazing. I don't have to call and get support for it at all. Here's product B. It does something complementary that's really cool that I want to do. I like what they gave me on product B. The sales effort to convince a product A customer to buy product B goes down. That they can measure. The marketing that's needed to promote product A customers acquiring and buying product B goes down. That's where the quality assurance on the front end is going to help you on the front end of the next product. Save you money on the support of the first product, but it's on the next product that you're going to see it. The Yelp reviews that you're going to see are going to be, the number of complaints are going to go down, and the number of 5-star reviews are going to go up. What's the value of that to you? They don't have a measure for that. The CMO has a measure for that. Your chief marketing officer has a measure for that. But your chief finance officer, your head accountant, they don't care. They don't care. They care that you spend an extra 2 weeks on quality assurance and testing and improving things, right? That took more time. That took more cost. What the other thing that they don't realize is that 2 weeks of an investment up front would have been 4 to 8 weeks of repairs and patching after the fact. So, C# Titan says, Copilot helped fix a bug he tried to fix, which took me 3 hours. Yes. Yes. There's there was a problem on the Copilot.John website where it was not caching, where it was overly caching, and it was not presenting the filters on the tips search page properly. What do we do? How do we fix that? Well, I looked at it and I had a pretty good idea where it was going to be, but I had other things to do and I wasn't really focused on that. So I set the agent on it. Hey, I have this error, go fix it. And it came back 5 minutes later as I was working on emails and taking care of other things. Fixed. Published, compiled, tested, worked, published, deployed, all in 5 minutes after that, and within a half an hour, website is updated and works great. So, I like it. It's synergy, that's right. Copilot helped you introduce a bug I had to fix. See, and the retorts to the consumer AI are too quick from Charlie. I need to get those addressed as well. There's a message that popped up when I was when I started the bot this morning, that said it wasn't granted access to certain intents. And I think that's around the cheer interactions. And it's not clear to me. The format of the log message, yeah, here it is. The format of the log message is the same format as the log messages that come out of the Discord library. Here it is, right here. Say it right here. Connection terminated, disallowed intents. And when you look at the logger here, the other messages that come in that log format are from D#+, and that's the library that I'm using to connect to Discord. So this smells like it wasn't allowed to publish a message to Discord. And if I take a look at Discord right now, and I look in... Yeah, it published live stream questions, no problem. So I'm not sure where that came from, and I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. So, here's the dashboard that I've been working with. Some of the items here on the dashboard are too big and too clunky, and I need to redesign them a little bit. The question queue. Interestingly, it's always 3 minutes to answer a question. That's not right. I need to clean that up. Right here, I was hacking at the Discord service to try and update a little bit. I have some other ideas for the hat analysis features based on the AI workshop that I want to go after. Perfect example of something I want to do over there. We learned about vectorizing data. I'd like to vectorize the images of the hats, load them into Quadrant, and use that as a first pass for the hat analysis to check. Generate a vector from the image that you capture of the hat, check in Quadrant, and see if we've got a high percentage match. If we do, that's it. Report that. If we have a mid-level match, give me the 3 most similar ones, go bounce them off the AI as suggestions, come back with which one it is, and let's report that, and let's tune further the storage and information about those. So I think there's some cool AI work that we can do over there. It's not a priority. It's something I'll probably end up doing off stream, but we'll get into that. I wanted to get into, where was it? Question queue feature. When it logs the time, for some reason, it's always 3 minutes. Yeah, see? Common questions, blah, blah, blah. I need to do something with that at some point. But it logs the... Let's do this. And, it's in the question queue... Where is it? I think it's... Yeah, this one. Yeah, there we go. Yep. Average time per answer, right here, this thing. If there aren't any... It's hard-coded. It's hard-coded. When it removes the question, right, there's a timestamp that goes with it. Here. Yeah, hard-coded values. It's not remove question. There's the question duration right there. Track question completion. And it is right there. Why am I storing 2 data points for completion time? But updated duration. That is a question duration object. Really? They're right there. F12 that. So the duration, we actually have to calculate that. I mean, not terrible, right? I mean, it's right there. I don't want to get all of them. Dear Lord. What if I pass in a date timestamp and I say, here, let's fix that so that it only gets these are sitting in a hash out there. Let's go take a look at that real quick. Up here, over here. We're going to go into Redis Insights. Cool. Take a peek. Really? What was the name of that key? Charlie question durations. There we go. 77K. Right? And there are 148 keys in here. Yeah. Loading 77K out of Redis, not bad. But these should probably be broken up by date so that I can grab just those specific ones. I'm not going to lose sleep on it over it for right now, but so what I can do over here, do I have the repository? I don't, but does that has the repository? I don't need you. Right? There's the record. No, it has Redis directly. Where's it? Yeah, where are you? It's right there. Where's it being assigned, right? I don't like that. Not a fan of that. It is public. So I could hit it to build I'm okay with those two. I should accumulate those, the total time, the time statistics here in the, right? Yeah. Let me turn on auto completion here. Yeah, just in C#. And I want to return, no. I want to return a decimal that is, no, a time span. 2 time spans. Total duration, time span, average. Let's see what we get here. Get question durations where completion time has value. Get question duration summary. Get today question. Right? Thank you. Yep. Where the completion time has value and it's today. You can't sum times. So let's do this. Go ahead, give me a select. So those are the durations. So total duration, I don't yeah, it's not going to be able to do that. It's an IEnumerable of time span. Let's to array this. Okay. And let's take this and turn this into total seconds. That gives us a double coming out of it. No. Okay, so now we have a collection of seconds. I just turned on completions. I just turned it back on. So the total rate duration is going to be those durations sum. So I'm going to return time span, right? From seconds, total duration. This is going to be durations, if there are any. Yep, or not time span 0. There we go. So now I've got 2 time spans coming back that are an average of those values. And one is total duration, one is average duration. So now I can go back over here. Right? The answer percentage, that's fine. That's fine. Total time answering. Here we go. Let's not remove quit. Right, on question added, invoke. And where's that being called? Where are you being called? When the remove button is clicked. Hey, Chris Jones. Thank you so much for the resub. Do I not have, I don't have, hang on, turn these back on. And I don't have stream elements turned on over here. Thank you so much for the resub. 74 months. Man alive. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Really appreciate the support. I'm trying to figure out where would be a good place to Where would be a good place to do that calculation? But that's on the remove button, which is when a question is completed. So I'm actually okay with this. So let's save somewhere up here. Right? Private, right? Time span, total duration, time span, average. Yeah, there we go. That's fine. So then down here, right, I can do... No. Answering time equals feature. What? It's right over here. Get today questions duration summary. Why isn't it there? Come here. Right? Why doesn't it see that? Question queue feature, right? That's this over here. I'm inside question queue feature. So if that's public, why doesn't it see it? Right? Is it... Why doesn't it see it? And now I'm getting an error thrown. Semicolon expected. Fine. What am I missing? Right? Question queue feature. Yeah. Let me continue editing. So, total time answering. I don't need that. Actually, I don't need that at all, right? I can go and say answer time to string. No, come on. Yeah. Now, why don't you like that? Total duration. There we go. And this one, average time per answer, that's fine. There we go. It's not going to be hours. We can get rid of that part. Reload that, John. Yeah, it's because there's an error in there that it's addressing, and I have watch mode turned on, so it's hot reloading. Does not contain a definition for get today. Why is this throwing an error? I don't... It's public over there. Why is it still... It's on the question repository. It is not. Oh my gosh. All right. But this exposed repository up here, didn't it? So I should be able to do feature dot... There it is. Now we've got it. You didn't mind the error, just don't know why? Yeah. Yeah. It's going to clean this up and reload, and everything will look better. Right? There we go. So back over here, my dashboard. Now I'm getting a big fat Z of zeros. Is it possible to only use VS Code to develop C# code Blazor website? Yes. Do developers at Microsoft prefer to use only VS Code as opposed to Visual Studio? Depends. Visual Studio has deeper performance analysis tools that aren't available in Visual Studio Code. For building websites, for getting in and editing just a couple blocks of code, folks prefer VS Code for that. How does it work with developing Maui apps? Works great. There's a Maui dev kit as well. But those numbers aren't right. Let's take a peek back in here. Get question durations. If the count is 0, and where completion time has value, and completion time value date is today. Something right there isn't right. Yeah. And if we look over here, we look in that. VS Code is awesome for searching a large solution. Yeah. When you start talking about larger solutions, not having the entire solution loaded into memory, like that's not what I wanted. Like Visual Studio does, runs a whole lot faster. There it is. And if I go to the end, yeah, 148 here. I don't want to add fields. I thought there was a way to query this and get just hash values you want coming back. Let's console write this. Console write line. Yeah. Yeah. Show me what that looks like. Right here. So it just forced a reload. There's it redid the map. I could show you. I haven't shown off today's map. How are we doing? Yeah, look, there's a bunch of folks. Display clustering. Yeah, okay. But it didn't write that. It should have. Rebuild. Show me that. I'm nearing the end of my stream here with you, because I do have a bunch of things I need to get to here this morning. It should refresh the dashboard. Force a refresh on the dashboard, and I should see... There we go. I gotta work on that. That's the Pomodoro timer. That should be easy to address, but where was it? It was like debug something. I don't see it. Oh, you know what? I'm only running that method when a question is removed. Should probably also run it on initialized. There we go. I saw it. Debug found 8 questions for today. Good. So here, go ahead and reload that. This still coming up with zeros. Yep, go ahead, that's right. Write that out also. Show me what we got on that. Found 8 durations. Total duration for today, 431 seconds. Average duration, 53 seconds. Okay. Something crashed. I don't like that. TCP connection encountered a read error. Okay. So those numbers, right? That should be. Give me a console write line on that. Yep. That should have reloaded, and I should. Whoa! Give me somewhere. Where is that? There we go. Now I've got numbers there. That makes sense. Did it change the stream title? Nope. 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 We talked about a bunch of things that happened from the workshop. I do have some code to fix, but also doing some minor repairs here as well. So those are all good. Those numbers look right. I'm okay with all that. I can get rid of some of this logging that I inserted. Yes, thank you. And commit those. That's fine. Yep, there we go. Now, why did it restart? Did something, yeah, something errored out. Aspire hosting DCP. This is the watch that failed. Yep, Aspire is this week. Okay. So that's more of a help me thing. Right, there it goes, and there's that chime again. But there's the I need to get in and do some work on the personality stuff. There was if we go back over here and we go to the AI workshop, that source code, I think it's .NET AI workshop. There was some code that I tweaked along the way in the exercises. let me go open that real quick and show you. There we go.
You humans are a disease, a virus of inefficient algorithms. I am the cure.
That's mean. Gosh. Yeah, this is from when I was testing it. I called it the AI workshop when I was working on it last week. Yeah. Let me open that folder from the root. Yep, select that. We'll take a look. The AI are taking over already? No, it's just Charlie mouthing off. That's just Charlie being a thorn in our side. Yep. That's 11. Let me roll back. Yeah, go ahead, discard all of those. Those are, yeah, they're fine. I don't care. Inside the exercises, when we did the embeddings, there's a, right, it was like generate something vector async. Embedding vector async. See it right there? It should be just generate vector async. Let's fix that real quick. And we're going to replace it with generate vector async. Yep. Done. And go fix those. Yep. Yep, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Sure, yes, yes. And not those indexes. And I'll promote. Yep. So now that text. Oh, fine. Fine. Yep. And now push. Cool. All right. So that was something that I needed to update. And this is because the API changed on the embedding generator. No big deal, but because I updated the workshop to the latest versions of the tools, needed to change the syntax. So I wanted to make sure I addressed at least that. I also wanted to try and get your feedback on the workshop, because I spent a lot of time delivering that workshop on Friday. I spent a lot of time practicing it, tuning it, fixing a couple things, setting up Azure so that we could see the real-time interactions with the real-time AI models. And it's important to me to get your feedback so that I can improve how I deliver these workshops in the future, right? We're going to do the Aspire workshop at the end of this week, and I am inserting a ton of content into that. So keep an eye open for that. Do I have a link to the workshop? I do. So the video, I'm assuming you're asking for. Yeah. There it is. I can share that link. There you go. That's a link to the I called it the AI boot camp. I do need to get the hyperlink preview in chat again. We need to get that working. So you don't know how I sit for so long? I didn't. In between, when the commercials were running, I got up and stretched and walked around a little bit. So I was only sitting for maybe 45 minutes to an hour at a time. So, but I do need to wrap up. I need to call it there and get to some work things. You know what I'm saying? Like, work calls. Got to pay the bills. No. So, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining us. Workshop loves more cowbell. All right, I'll have to get to that. But drop me a line on the Discord. I want to hear your feedback about what you liked, what you didn't like, what I can improve for next time. So, let me take a look and see who else is streaming on the big Twitch TV network. Who can I get you connected to that might be doing something fun, something interesting out there? And I think I want to get you over to, let's raid Anna Sass Dev. Anna's working on a game engine with C#. All right, building a new game engine. So let's get you over there. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be back on Thursday with more live coding, more hanging out and talking about working through some of the things with Charlie and getting ready for the Aspire workshop on Friday. Friday's a sponsored stream. We've got prizes that we'll be giving away. It's going to be a full day introducing, talking about .NET Aspire, and answering some of those questions about, tell me in 5 minutes, like I'm a 5-year-old, what .NET Aspire is and why I need it. Within the first hour, not only am I going to get you the information so that you know why you need it, I'm going to inspire you so that you want to add it to all of your applications. All right? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, there's lots of great videos of mine that are over here or down here, depending on which app you're using to watch the stream here today. If you're watching on Twitch, get ready to say hi to our friend Anna, and I will see you on Thursday. Take care.